Hey friends, today I'd like to talk to you about a book that I've recently read in Spanish, Los Conquistadores del Fuego. I'm going to share with you what did I like and dislike about this book and what phrases I, as a native Russian speaker, found interesting. So, the book. Actually, it's an old Belgian novel by J.H. Rossini-Eyni. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. The book was originally written in French more than 100 years ago and became quite popular in the 20th century thanks to its film adaptation and also because the book was translated in many languages. In English, this book is called Quest for Fire. In Russian, it's Борьба за огонь. In Polish, it's Walka o ogień, etc., etc. I think in most languages, the title literally means the war for fire. It's a fascinating story about prehistoric people, a caveman tribe who lost their fire in a battle, and then 3 young men were sent out to get the fire or to steal it from another tribe. And we are following the great journey full of risky adventures, dangerous creatures, and also different races of people. I remember reading and rereading this book in Russian when I was a child. It was one of my favorite books at that time, and I was really fascinated by the story. So I thought it would be interesting to read it in other languages too. And I started looking for versions of this book written in English or in Spanish. In Spanish, I saw different book titles of this book, La Guerra del Fuego and also En Busca del Fuego. But I managed to get to buy this one, Los Conquistadores del Fuego. It was published in Cuba in 1969, and it has so many beautiful pictures in it to complement this interesting story. I read this book for almost 3 weeks. And to be honest, it wasn't an easy read for me because there were so many descriptions of flora and fauna, and also the writer and translator, I believe both of them, they used such a rich vocabulary that sometimes it was difficult for me to understand what's going on in the story. But at the same time, I hope that all of that helped me to increase my Spanish vocabulary, at least a little. Also, in this Spanish version of this book, I discovered 2 interesting phrases that were really curious for me as a native Russian speaker. The first one is creer en su buena estrella, which means to believe in one's lucky star. And in Russian, we would say just the same, верить в его, ее счастливую звезду. And another one is dar diente con diente, which means to chatter one's teeth with cold or fear. And in Russian we would say the same thing, стучать, лязгать зубами от холода или страха. Such an interesting similarities, isn't it? So the book was hard to read at times, but the story, the quest itself was gripping. And I would definitely recommend this book, especially if you're interested in prehistory. But to me, the Russian version was better, more well written, I would say, and I hope to be able to read this book in its original language, in French, someday, because I'd love to hear the author's voice in the story. To read his own words and ideas without any of them being lost in translation. And I would love to hear your thoughts, guys. Please write in the comments, have you ever read this book? Maybe in your childhood. In which language did you read it? And how did you enjoy this story? Also, if you have watched the movie Quest for Fire, please tell me if it's worth watching. I haven't seen it and I would be really interested in hearing your opinion. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye!